everyone, and welcome to the 12th day of Christmas here on Off the Wall. I got Smithee back with me. How you
What's
doing?
up? I'm doing great, Soul. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good, doing good. Today we're talking about a movie that's not very good, but it's okay. It's not offensive.
Yeah, it didn't
That's
make me
Family Switch.
angry. I didn't want to throw my TV against the wall or anything like that. But maybe not the greatest film ever made. We'll
No,
suss that
no.
out here in this review.
So this movie is called Family Switch, and it's on Netflix. Stars Jennifer Gardner
Ed Helms,
and Ed Helms.
yeah,
And what are
Rita
your
Moreno,
yes?
and the girl
No,
who's Wednesday's friend
true,
on
true.
Wednesday, and this German guy who was actually in the Oppenheimer movie. I'm going to throw a
Oh,
few
look at
extra
that.
ones in there. So he got to do Oppenheimer. That was very good. They got to balance their careers out and do movies
Right.
like Family Switch, just to even it out, so they don't act like they're better than you.
So they can humble themselves.
Exactly.
But what are your non-spoiler thoughts of this movie?
Wow. Non-spoilery thoughts. This is a Family Switch movie, or it's a body switch movie, and we've seen those in the past. You have movies like Vice Versa is one of them. Freaky Friday, that's probably the most classic. And there's also some age switch concepts. I guess there's movies like 13 going on 30 and 17 again, where they don't switch bodies, but they get into their younger body. And they actually mention those movies in this movie. My goodness. But,
Yes, they do.
my thoughts are like this movie tried to be so PG. It's PG. And it's like,
Hmm.
guys, you had it. You were kind of at an area where you were trying to be a cool movie, but then you also wanted to be like a family film, and that sort of ruined it. I think they could have pushed this into the PG 13 realm. It's directed by McGee. Did you know that?
I
Bill
did not know
McGee.
that.
McGee, who directed the Charlie's Angels movies and
Hmm.
directed that Christian Bale Terminator movie where he had the rant and he flipped out on everyone. That was McGee's fault, by the way. But anyway, so. But it's not the greatest movie. The comedy is really at a kid level, and it's like it isn't even good fart humor. It's like
Yeah,
lame fart humor. So I don't know. How did you feel about Family Switch?
and I mean, you always want to have good fart humor if there's gonna be fart humor.
Yeah, but
This movie was, in a way, a waste of time. Is how it felt. Okay, that's a like 90 minutes of my life that I won't get back.
right.
But
A little more. It's a little more
yeah,
like an hour 40. So there's an extra 10 minutes of your life that you won't get
right.
back beyond that. But
And you would think that the movie would have been better with the stars that they have in the movie. And my nostalgia for Freaky Friday, I was like,
oh, right,
oh, I'm going to really enjoy this film. They're going to do their own take, make it a
right.
little Christmassy, have some fun with it. It's going to be more than just mom and daughter. There's going to be multiple people switching.
Yeah,
And it didn't work. There was some soccer stuff in it that was both cool and also not good at the same time because
right.
we had Alyssa Thompson, who is currently on the U.S. Women's National Team. She was in the movie, and her little sister, who
Ooh,
I think is still in high school right now, was in the
okay,
movie.
right.
So for the little peek there, if you watch the U.S. Women's National Team, which they did play tonight, we're
That's
recording this
right.
a little early.
Yeah,
They beat China. You go, oh, look at Alyssa Thompson. She played tonight in that game. But the way that they're going to have a scout watch a high school match that's being played at BMO, which is where LAFC play. And I'm
right.
like,
Like a
what
full
high
stadium.
school is this? What
Yeah,
is going on? I don't understand.
right.
And someone from USSF wouldn't be watching a high school player for the national team. They'd
Right.
probably be watching them for one of the youth teams, not the senior level team.
Yeah.
So I really wasn't understanding that portion of the movie, just of what I know about soccer.
Right. They wanted to make it cinematically epic, And it
Yeah.
was like, that wasn't really necessary for this movie. Realistic might have played a little better. But yeah, that was a
Yeah.
full on stadium with like 10,000 people in it
Yeah.
cheering and screaming. And you're like, wait, she's in high school? Why are they playing
Yeah.
that?
This is not
Very
a
odd.
college match because
Yeah.
that would have made more sense.
Right.
And you had some fun things in the movie with the switch where the girl that the son has a crush on
Right.
and that stuff with the father. And so there's like fun moments there.
Mm.
But maybe it's the writing, maybe it's the direction by McG, maybe it's what they were trying to do. It's just not coming
Right.
across well.
I would blame the writing. Not that I'm a McGee fan, but
Yeah.
I just think that like there were things like you mentioned the girl that likes the son, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he first sees her, they play it like they don't know each other. Like she doesn't
Yeah.
know who he is. She just walks on by and he's looking at her like, "Oh, I love you." And I forget the song
And
they
I would
played.
do
Yes.
anything
Pay
for
for
love.
love. Oh my God. But then in this scene later, like she walks right up to the dad and it's just like, "Hey, Mr. Walker, how's your son doing? Oh, he's so great. We used to hang out." And I'm like, well, why'd you walk? What the writing made it?
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't make any sense. But anyway.
Right.
Plus, like the fact the soccer, going back to soccer here, part of the idea of this movie is that like, okay, you're gonna have the parents switch with the kids, the dog switches with the baby, which is
Yeah.
an unexpected like extra bonus. And then, they set up all these events that they're gonna have to do in their lives. And that like the switched person is gonna have to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
the mom plays the soccer game and doesn't totally get her butt kicked. It just seems like a little bit of an exaggeration. They made
Yeah.
Wednesday's friend out to seem like Cece, I think is her name in the movie,
Yeah.
to be like the greatest soccer legacy or prodigy, I'm sorry, ever like, existing. So
Mm.
goofy at that point. But yes.
Yeah, I mean, she has a full-length Brandy Chastain poster on her wall from the 1999
There you
World
go.
Cup.
Right,
So
right,
she's super into soccer, loves
right.
soccer, plays so well. Even the coach, that's the greatest soccer player I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Sorry to like the other
right.
kids.
Apologies to you over there. That
But
woman's very funny actress
yeah,
and a comedian. So good
mm,
casting, I think, even though I'm not sure how much she could play soccer coach, but whatever.
yeah. She kind of seemed wasted. And that's the
Right.
most of these actors that we've seen of that are really funny in
Sure.
either their stand up or other
Right, right.
movies or good actors in other movies. Jennifer
Yeah.
Garner, like herself, they mentioned 13 Going on 30. She was in that
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
which is pretty good.
Right.
And they all seem wasted. Rita Moreno seems wasted. And like, how are you going to waste Rita? I mean,
I
come
know.
on.
She was the most charming person in the movie,
Hmm.
though. I just felt because once you got to her, you're like, okay, she's in control of this thing. She's
Hmm.
the one who's going to bring the family together. And I liked her car. She had that crazy like
Yeah.
fortune teller van. It was kind of like,
And she's a Lyft driver too.
and she's a Lyft driver. Yeah, so get that marketing campaign into your movie there.
Hmm.
A lot of setups for jokes that just fall flat. There's a
Hmm.
whole like, I'm lactose intolerant and I'm going to do some fart jokes and good fart jokes, bad fart jokes. These were like kid fart jokes.
Hmm.
Um, there was also just this scene I remember where her like the mom's friend comes up to her and I think she's the daughter in the mom's body
Yeah.
at this point and starts talking about this stuff that is sex stuff, right? She's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, thanks for the advice you gave for my husband. So I did this and that," and she's moving her hands around,
Yeah.
but they sort of like mute the sound down, and
Hmm.
then because she's like the daughter doesn't want to hear it. But I'm like, that's the PG version, the PG-13 version. You should have
Hmm.
gone full on, is what I'm saying
Right.
here. Do you want what I'm saying? But anyway, they
Yeah.
didn't want to go there in this movie, I guess. But whatever.
Also, that mom sneaks in wine to the stadium.
Yeah, and she wasn't even sneaky about it. She was just like, "Bing, here's some wine. Let's have some drinks." And I was fine with that. But I guess the daughter is, she's not 21 yet. So
And knowing MLS stadium rules, that would not fly, but this is a movie, so you
yeah,
got to suspend your disbelief.
got this big wine shape in her jacket. You know, she's
Right.
like, "Oh no, it's I have a growth." And you're like, "No, that's a bottle of wine." But anyway,
The fun that you see the family having, there's moments that are charming when they're dancing together at that party,
right.
or when they fall asleep together on the couch. And there's these little moments, and you can see where this movie wanted to go.
Mm,
It just needed some tweaking.
yeah, it needed some help. I
Yeah.
will say something that's highly controversial here, Soul. But
Okay.
no, I'm kidding. It's not really. I'm not the hugest Ed Helms fan.
Mm.
I get that there's like this comedic thing. Two and a Half Men and
Mm-hmm.
John Cryer. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I really don't like John Cryer in Two and a Half Men, and that's what this Ed Helms, like his entire career, seems like. I'm the uptight, blah blah blah
Mm-hmm.
guy, and you're gonna get my goat, ha ha.
And he was part of Maroon 6.
Apparently, yeah, he was the six in Maroon 6, and they were like, let's get this guy out of here, even though they played that cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a weird thing to me how they wanted to play Ed Helms as being cool. That like
Yeah.
that turned out to be the case, and the son is like learning and benefiting from his father's coolosity. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
he is so not cool. He's Ed Helms. Stop trying to make me think he's cool. Anyway.
But just have him go play piano like in The Hangover.
Yeah, yeah. But see, that's like a rated R movie with like
Yeah.
Todd Phillips directing it, and it's got all kinds of like wicked humor. But
Mm-hmm.
in a PG movie directed by McGee, he's just falling flat here, left and right. And he's a nice guy, I'm sure. That's why it's controversial, because if he ever watches this, he's gonna be mad. So don't let him watch it. Is the idea. We'll keep it a
Ed Helms, if you're
private.
watching, hello.
Ed Helms, if you're watching, we loved you in Grand Rapids or whatever other movie you were in that one time. But anyway, we discussed it earlier, and this must be said. This is hardly a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is really a non-Christmas movie where somebody was like, if we throw in a little Christmas, it might buy us a little extra, positivity. So the themes of the movie really have nothing to do with
Mm-hmm.
Christmas. And every
Yeah.
now and then they cut to like stock footage of LA with like people skateboarding, but they're wearing Santa hats, and there's a Christmas tree over there. So this movie definitely didn't like have the Christmas spirit. And not that it didn't have spirit, but
Yeah.
you could have slipped in any holiday. It could have been like Halloween or
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving, and that would have even made more sense. Thanksgiving, because that's when families like you get together, you eat the
Mm-hmm.
turkey, and that was part of the issue with the movie here. So anyway,
And Smithee, you currently live in the LA area. When's the
right.
last time that it snowed in LA?
You know what? Usually it does not, but last year it did. It did, and there was a
Mm.
moment at my job. I'm sorry, I'm running your point. You're like, it never snows in LA. What are you talking about? It doesn't snow in LA like it does in this movie. That was, what I'm saying is, I got like 2 to 3 minutes of snow that one time,
Mm.
and I took my phone outside at work and I was filming, and I was like, oh my god, look at
Did
this
it
little tiny.
immediately melt as it hit the
Yes,
ground?
it was that kind of snow where you kind of see it in the air, but once it hits the ground, it's like water. It's over.
Yeah.
But
So it doesn't stick
truthfully,
to the ground like it
yeah,
did at the end of this movie.
yeah, exactly. There's no like building a snowman after it snows here in LA. It's more
Mm-hmm.
like just you slip on the sidewalk,
Mm-hmm.
you hurt your hip, but no snow to play with. It's not fun in that way. So anyway,
I think if I'm speaking for the both of us,
yeah,
we didn't like this movie, but we weren't offended by this movie.
yeah.
It's a movie.
There might be some families that are very uptight and they get together and they just are like, does this movie have any profanity? Do they talk about the dirty things in this movie? And
Mm-hmm.
those people might enjoy it,
Yeah.
But anyway, I forget there's a moment with Bust a Move, that
Yeah.
song?
Yes.
And there's one line, it's like in the first few lines, he says, chick walks by, you wish you could sex her, but standing on the corner like he was Poindexter. And right when the word sex was about to happen, somebody else starts talking and they cut to like something else. And I was like, you couldn't even do that. You couldn't even have the song in the background because no
Yeah.
one knows what sexer means anyway. That's kind of what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. McGee, I think, has got a contract with Netflix, and he
Mm.
makes a lot of Netflix movies now. And it is odd. Netflix is kind of not the real world of movies. You know, you're usually not going to see them in the theater, so they have a lower kind of
Yeah.
profile, and you know they can get away with stuff like this. Maybe trick a few people. They might also get credit for a 10-minute view.
Mm-hmm.
Like if 10 minutes in, you're like, this is garbage, over. They still get a view and they're like,
Yeah.
yes, another success story for Netflix. And you're like, no, guys, that
I
was
think it's
actually,
even less than 10 minutes. I
yeah,
think it might be like a minute or
like a
two.
minute. Yeah. You just got to
Yeah.
not be offended by the credit sequence.
Right.
Then you're in, you know, so weird. Uh, I also, this is one of these movies and TV shows too, where like these people live in like a mansion. Their house is
Yeah.
like almost a mansion. And they never
Yeah.
mention that they're just a normal family living
One
their
of them is
lives.
a teacher
Yeah, he's a school teacher in elementary school. And you're like,
in
well, I guess it was
LA.
high school, maybe it was older. But yeah, you get paid even less here because there's like a million
Yeah.
of you guys out there.
But
Okay.
the houses are even more expensive in LA.
Yeah,
So that type of house
right.
would be way more. Because one of my very good family friends lives in this tiny, tiny house in LA. And it
Yeah,
was like $900,000 when they paid for it several years
right.
ago. Who knows what it costs now?
Exactly.
And it's just because
This
of the
might look
land.
like a nice window, but I'm literally in a closet right now. So it's a closet with windows, you know. So if I walk this way, I hit the wall and like, boom. Oh, anyway. So what day of Christmas are we on here? What you said earlier?
We're on the 12th day.
The 12th day of Christmas. Awesome. There's so many new Christmas movies out there that I was seeing on the IMDb page of this movie, and it was suggesting like other things. And I haven't heard of half of these Christmas movies, but
Yeah, there's a lot of Christmas movies out there, and we're
yeah,
reviewing them here, most of them here on
yes,
Off the Wall.
that's right.
So check all the days of Christmas here. We're doing 25 days. This is the 12th. I'm Sol. That's Smithee. I don't
Smithy.
know how much you can hear my family in the background. I hope not. We'll see you guys tomorrow for day 13.
Excellent. Good night, America and international audiences. Yes.